Okay guys, so we're done with the half angle formulas and we're on to product to sum formulas. So they're listed for you up here. So when you have sine of an angle times cosine of another angle, or cosine of an angle times sine of another angle, it's just all listed for you right here. So first thing I would do is determine which angle is your alpha and which angle is your beta. If alpha and beta bother you, you can always rewrite this with a and b, x and y, u and v. It doesn't matter. Okay, so we're going to rewrite the product as a sum or difference. So 5x is going to be my alpha and 4x is going to be my beta. So this is cosine alpha times sine beta, which is this formula right here, which is 1/2 times sine alpha plus beta minus sine alpha minus beta. So we've identified our alpha, we've identified our beta, so let's just plug in to our formula. So we have 1/2 times sine of 5x plus 4x minus sine of 5x minus 4x. And then let's just distribute this 1/2. So we'd have 1/2 sine 5x plus 4x is 9x minus 1/2 sine 5x minus 4x is x. So now instead of a product, we have a difference. So we successfully rewrote this product right here as a difference. It just so happened to be a difference. So pause me if you need to, but I'm going to move on. Here, 5x is your alpha and 3x is your beta. This is sine 5x cosine 3x. So it's going to be this formula right here. If you notice with your formulas, when it's sine cosine or cosine sine, we've got sines on the inside. But when the trig function is the same, like sine, sine, cosine, cosine, we've got cosines on the inside. So if you did have to memorize these later on for a college class, there are patterns that you can look for. But obviously, we're not going to have to memorize these. So we're using that green asterisk one. So sine alpha cosine beta equals 1/2 times sine alpha plus beta plus sine alpha minus beta. So very similar to example 7, except it's a sum instead of a difference. So really just small differences here. So we've got 1/2 times sine alpha is 5x, beta is 3x, plus sine, again alpha is 5x minus beta 3x. So just like in example 7, let's distribute the half. So we've got 1/2 sine 5x plus 3x is 8x. And then we've got 1/2 sine 5x minus 3x is 2x. So we've successfully rewritten this product as a sum this time. So we can go from products to sums and differences just like we can go from sums and differences to products. So our next couple examples, we're doing just that. We're going from addition and subtraction to multiplication. So I know this is kind of confusing, and pay attention, this one has a random negative sign out front. So just pay attention to your formulas. This would be the first piece, and then this would be the second piece. So just pay attention to that. But really, just identify your alpha, identify your beta, and plug them in and go from there. First, identify your formula, obviously. Okay, so example 8. Find the exact value of cosine 195 plus cosine 105. So 195 is my alpha, 105 is my beta. Cosine alpha plus cosine beta . If you look on the page above, that is 2 cosine alpha plus beta over 2 times cosine alpha minus beta over 2. So we've got our formula, we've got our alpha, we've got our beta. Now let's plug in. So we've got 2 times cosine 195 plus 105 divided by 2 times cosine 195 minus 105 divided by 2. This is cosine 195 plus 105 divided by 2 is 150. And we're in degrees, obviously. 195 minus 105 divided by 2 is 45 degrees. Now, the cosine of 150 degrees is negative root 3 over 2. It's in the second quadrant, I'm sorry. It's the 30-degree angle in the second quadrant, so it's negative. And then cosine of 45 degrees is obviously root 2 over 2. Now, all we have to do is some simplification. So this 2 can be simplified with that 2. Remember, when we're multiplying two radicals, we can take the inside multiplied by the inside. So this would be negative the square root of 6 divided by 2. And remember, we cannot simplify that. We cannot say root 3 over 2 because we can't say inside and outside. If it's one's inside and one term is outside, we can't just play with them both. Okay? So that is the exact value using a sum to product formula. So go ahead and pause me and try this one before I move on. Again, 195 is going to be your alpha. 105 is going to be your beta. But this time it's sine alpha plus sine beta, which is the formula on the top page is 2 sine alpha plus beta divided by 2 times cosine alpha minus beta divided by 2. And we've already done a little bit of work here because we know this value right here and we know this value right here from example 8. I'm going to plug it in just to show you guys, but just know that you know this value from up there. So this would be 2 sine alpha is 195 plus beta, which is 105, divided by 2 times cosine alpha, 195, minus beta, divided by 2. Again, 195 plus 105 divided by 2 is 150, more in degrees, times cosine 45 degrees. So, the sine of 150 degrees, well, that's in quadrant 2 where sine is positive. Up here, if the cosine was root 3 over 2, sine has to be a half. And then cosine of 45 degrees is again root 2 over 2. Simplify. So our answer ends up being root 2 over 2, which ends up quite nicely. Okay, so in the next examples, we're going to be using these formulas to solve equations. So that'll be in the next video.